The sterile white corridors of Horizon 7 Research Station hummed with a subtle electromagnetic pulse, a reminder of the delicate balance between human engineering and alien technology. Dr. Elena Rodriguez adjusted her neural interface, her fingers dancing across the holographic display that mapped out the latest xenobiological readings from the Andromeda sector. Horizon 7 hung like a crystalline jewel against the backdrop of infinite darkness, a testament to humanity's most ambitious deep space research project. For 3 decades, the station had been humanity's primary point of contact with intelligent extraterrestrial civilizations, a beacon of scientific curiosity and interstellar diplomacy. Elena's latest project focused on biological adaptation mechanisms across different species. Her lab, a marvel of transparent walls and advanced scanning equipment, was a shrine to scientific exploration. Hundreds of specimen containers lined the walls, each containing carefully preserved biological samples from dozens of alien species. A sharp chime interrupted her concentration. The station's communication system flickered, revealing the angular prismatic form of Kraltok, lead researcher from the Crystalline Collective. His body was a living network of geometric shapes, constantly shifting and realigning like a 3-dimensional puzzle. Dr. Rodriguez, Kraltok's communication module, translated his complex light patterns into speech. "We have detected an anomaly in the cellular regeneration data you transmitted last cycle." Elena's eyebrow raised. Anomalies were rare, especially in her meticulously collected datasets. "Elaborate," she responded, pulling up the specific molecular scan on her primary display. Kraltok's form shifted, projecting a holographic representation of human cellular structures. Intricate lines of blue and green light danced between molecular representations, highlighting what appeared to be an unexpected adaptive response. "Your species continues to perplex our scientific understanding." Kraltok's modulated voice carried a hint of what might have been fascination. "The cellular regeneration patterns show capabilities that defy our current biological models." Elena leaned closer to the holographic display. Humans had always been known for their remarkable biological adaptability, but this was something different. The cellular structures seemed to be exhibiting a level of complexity that went beyond standard genetic programming. "These mutations," she murmured, "they're not random. There's a pattern here." The station's ambient lighting shifted, reflecting the excitement building in the research space. Kraltok's crystalline body pulsed with intricate light patterns, a visual representation of intense computational processing. "We hypothesize that human cellular structures contain an adaptive mechanism previously unobserved in known biological systems," Kraltok continued. "Your species appears capable of rapid genetic reconfiguration in response to environmental stimuli." Elena's mind raced. If true, this could revolutionize understanding of biological adaptation across the universe. Humans had always been considered a relatively young species in the galactic community, often overlooked or underestimated. But this discovery suggested something far more profound. "We need more data," she said, her voice a mixture of scientific excitement and cautious professionalism. "I'll prepare a comprehensive genetic sequencing protocol. We'll need samples from multiple human subjects with varied environmental backgrounds." Kraltok's form rotated, a gesture that Elena had learned signified agreement. "The Crystalline Collective is prepared to allocate additional research resources. This discovery transcends our individual scientific interests." As they continued analyzing the data, neither scientist realized they were standing at the precipice of a breakthrough that would fundamentally challenge everything known about biological adaptation in the universe. Outside the research station, the infinite darkness of space seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the secrets about to be unveiled. The research complex buzzed with an electric anticipation that transcended typical scientific excitement. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before a massive holographic display, her fingers tracing complex genetic sequences that seemed to dance and shift with an almost living intelligence. Kraltok's crystalline form hovered nearby, his molecular sensors scanning the data with unprecedented intensity. The human cellular samples they had collected were proving to be far more complex than any previous xenobiological research had suggested. Remarkable. Kraltak's communication module translated his light pulses. Your species demonstrates a quantum-level adaptability that defies our current scientific understanding. Elena zoomed in on a particularly intricate genetic sequence. Microscopic cellular structures seemed to rearrange themselves, creating adaptive pathways that could respond to environmental challenges with lightning-quick precision. It was as if human biology contained an internal problem-solving mechanism that went beyond simple genetic programming. Dr. Rashid Khan, the station's lead quantum biochemist, entered the lab. His dark eyes scanned the holographic display with growing excitement. The cellular reconfiguration patterns are unprecedented, he said, his voice carrying a mix of wonder and scientific skepticism. A sudden alarm interrupted their concentration. The station's emergency protocols flickered to life, casting a pale blue warning light across the research chamber. External sensors had detected an anomalous radiation burst from a nearby star system. Incoming data stream, the station's AI announced in a neutral tone, detecting extreme environmental variables. The holographic display shifted, showing a violent stellar event that would have been fatal to most known biological entities. Yet the human cellular samples they had been studying began to show something extraordinary. Microscopic adaptive responses started to manifest. Cellular structures began to reorganize, creating protective molecular shields that could potentially withstand extreme radiation and temperature variations. It was as if the human genetic code contained an internal survival mechanism that could activate under extreme stress. "This is impossible," Rashid muttered, but his eyes told a different story, one of pure scientific amazement. Kraltak's crystalline body pulsed with complex light patterns, the equivalent of intense computational processing. "Your species continually challenges our understanding of biological limitation," he communicated. Elena couldn't help but smile. Humans had always been considered a young, somewhat unremarkable species in the galactic community, but this research was about to change everything. "We need to expand our research," she said, her voice steady, but filled with excitement. "These cellular adaptation mechanisms could revolutionize our understanding of survival across different environmental conditions." The station's research team began preparing more comprehensive tests. Blood samples, genetic sequencing equipment, and advanced quantum scanning devices were assembled with surgical precision. Outside the research complex, the violent stellar event continued to rage. But inside, something far more profound was unfolding. A discovery that would challenge everything known about biological adaptation in the universe. Kraltak's communication module translated another series of light pulses. "Humans are not what we initially believed," he stated. "You are something entirely different." Elena looked at the holographic display, watching the cellular structures continue their impossible dance of adaptation and survival. They were on the edge of a scientific breakthrough that could change everything. The research complex of Horizon 7 had transformed into a crucible of scientific innovation. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of a collaborative project that was rapidly becoming the most significant xenobiological investigation in recent galactic history. Quantum scanning arrays hummed with intense energy, capturing every microscopic mutation of the human cellular samples. Dr. Rashid Khan had brought in additional equipment from the station's most advanced research modules, pushing the boundaries of scientific observation. "The adaptive mechanisms are developing exponential complexity," Kraltak announced, his crystalline form projecting intricate holographic models that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. Each molecular shift revealed new layers of biological potential that defied conventional understanding. The research team had set up a series of extreme environmental simulations, radiation chambers, pressure variations, temperature extremes. Each test pushed human biological samples to their theoretical limits, but instead of breaking down, the cellular structures demonstrated an almost sentient ability to reconfigure and survive. "Look at this," Elena called out, zooming into a molecular sequence that was reshaping itself in real time. The cellular structure isn't just defending, it's learning. Rashid's fingers flew across the holographic interface, running complex quantum algorithms. "It's like the cells are creating their own problem-solving network," he muttered. Each environmental challenge triggers a unique adaptive response. The station's research protocols were being rewritten with each passing hour. What had begun as a routine xenobiological study was transforming into something far more profound, a potential breakthrough in understanding biological intelligence. Kraltak's communication module pulsed with what could only be described as scientific excitement. The crystalline collective had never encountered a biological system with such remarkable adaptive capabilities. Human cellular structures were solving problems at a quantum level, creating protective mechanisms that seemed to anticipate threats before they fully materialized. A critical test approached. The research team had designed an experiment that would push the human biological samples to their absolute limit, a simulation of conditions that had previously destroyed every known biological entity in the galaxy. Initiating Extreme Environment Protocol, the station's AI announced. The research chamber darkened. Radiation levels began to spike, atmospheric pressure dropped to near zero, and temperature variations created conditions that should have been instantly fatal to any known life form. But the human cellular samples did something extraordinary. Instead of breaking down, the cells began to communicate with each other. Molecular structures realigned, creating complex defensive networks. It was as if the cells were thinking, learning, adapting in real time. "Impossible," Rashid whispered, watching the holographic display. "These cells are demonstrating a level of intelligence we've never seen before." Elena understood the profound implications. This wasn't just about biological adaptation. This was about something much larger, a fundamental reimagining of what intelligence could be. Kraltak's crystalline form pulsed with intense light patterns. "The human biological system is not just surviving," he communicated. "It's evolving in real time." As the extreme environment simulation continued, the research team watched in awe. The human cellular samples weren't just enduring. They were thriving, transforming, creating new pathways of survival that challenged everything known about biological limitations. The crucible of discovery was burning bright, and humanity was about to be seen in an entirely new light. The research complex of Horizon 7 had become a pressure point of scientific revelation. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the intersection of a discovery that would rewrite the understanding of biological potential across the known universe. The collaborative team had expanded. Representatives from multiple alien civilizations now gathered in the research chamber, their various physiological forms creating a living mosaic of interstellar diversity. Where once there might have been competition or skepticism, now there was a shared sense of wonder. Dr. Rashid Khan was presenting their most recent findings, his holographic display showing the intricate dance of human cellular structures. "What we're witnessing," he explained, "is not just adaptation. It's a form of distributed intelligence that operates at a quantum level." Kraltak's crystalline form shifted, projecting complex light patterns that translated to intense curiosity. The crystalline collective had never encountered a biological system with such remarkable adaptive capabilities. Human cells were solving problems before they fully materialized, creating protective mechanisms that seemed to anticipate threats with an almost prescient intelligence. A representative from the Nebular Consortium, a gaseous being whose form constantly shifted like living mist, spoke through a translation matrix. "Your species demonstrates a level of biological flexibility that challenges our entire understanding of evolutionary mechanisms." Elena understood the profound implications. This research was more than a scientific breakthrough. It was a moment of cultural convergence. Humans, often considered a young and somewhat unremarkable species in the galactic community, were about to be seen in an entirely different light. The station's most advanced simulation chamber hummed with energy. They had prepared their most complex test yet, a scenario that combined multiple extreme environmental challenges: radiation, pressure variations, temperature extremes, and quantum-level disruptions were all integrated into a single brutal simulation. As the test began, something extraordinary happened. The human cellular samples didn't just survive. They began to communicate with each other, creating complex networks of adaptive response. Molecular structures realigned with incredible speed, generating protective mechanisms that seemed to think and learn in real time. The cellular structures are creating their own problem-solving network, Rashid muttered, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. It's like they're developing a collective intelligence. Kraltak's communication module pulsed with what could only be described as scientific excitement. Your species is not simply adapting, he communicated. You are actively evolving in response to environmental challenges. The alien representatives watched in stunned silence. What they were witnessing challenged everything they knew about biological adaptation. Human cells were demonstrating a level of intelligence and flexibility that transcended traditional understanding of life itself. Elena approached the holographic display, her fingers tracing the complex molecular patterns. "This is more than survival," she said quietly. "This is a form of intelligence we've never seen before." The research chamber fell silent, filled with the subtle hum of advanced technology and the weight of a potentially universe-changing discovery. Humans were about to be recognized not as a young, unremarkable species, but as something far more extraordinary. A representative from the quantum collective spoke, its voice a complex series of mathematical frequencies. "We must reconsider everything we know about biological potential." As the simulation continued, the human cellular samples continued their impossible dance of survival and adaptation. They weren't just enduring. They were thriving, transforming, creating new pathways of existence that challenged the very foundations of scientific understanding. The final stage of the research project arrived with an anticipation that seemed to vibrate through the very fabric of the research station. What had begun as a routine xenobiological study had transformed into a discovery that would reshape humanity's place in the galactic community. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before the assembled representatives of multiple alien civilizations, her presentation about to unveil the full implications of their groundbreaking research. The holographic display behind her showed complex molecular structures that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. "Our research has revealed something extraordinary," Elena began, her voice steady but charged with scientific excitement. "Human cellular structures demonstrate a level of adaptive intelligence that goes beyond any previously observed biological system. Kraltak's crystalline form pulsed with intricate light patterns, a visual representation of intense computational processing. The crystalline collective had been particularly fascinated by the research, their entire understanding of biological potential now challenged. Dr. Rashid Khan stepped forward, bringing up a series of complex quantum simulations. "What we've discovered is not just adaptation," he explained. "It's a form of distributed intelligence that operates at a quantum level. Human cells don't just respond to environmental challenges. They anticipate them, learn from them, and create novel solutions in real time." The research chamber was filled with representatives from across the galaxy, gaseous beings from the Nebular Consortium, energy-based life forms from the quantum collective, and crystalline entities like Kraltak watched with a mixture of scientific curiosity and growing respect. A breakthrough moment arrived during the final simulation. The human cellular samples were subjected to a series of environmental challenges that would have been fatal to any known life form. Radiation levels spiked, atmospheric pressure dropped to near zero, and temperature variations created conditions that should have instantly destroyed any biological entity. But the human cells did something unprecedented. They didn't just survive. They transformed. Molecular structures realigned with incredible speed, creating complex defensive networks that seemed to think and learn in real time. It was as if the cells possessed a form of collective intelligence that could solve problems before they fully materialized. "This is more than biological adaptation," Elena explained, her holographic display showing the intricate molecular dance. "This is a new form of intelligence, Our cellular structures are creating their own problem-solving network, demonstrating a level of flexibility and cognitive potential that we've never seen before. The quantum collective's representative, a being of pure energy and mathematical frequencies, spoke first. "Your species challenges our entire understanding of biological potential," it communicated. "These cellular mechanisms suggest a form of intelligence that transcends traditional biological limitations." Kraltalk's communication module translated his complex light patterns. "Humans are not what we initially believed," he stated. "You are something entirely different, a species with an innate ability to evolve and adapt that goes beyond mere survival." As the presentation concluded, the implications became clear. Humanity was about to be recognized not as a young, unremarkable species, but as a potentially revolutionary force in the galactic community. The research from Horizon 7 would change everything. Human cellular biology was no longer just a subject of scientific study. It was a testament to the incredible potential of biological intelligence. The infinite darkness of space seemed to hold its breath, witnessing a moment that would reshape understanding across the universe.